Before we get into this video, let me just ask you a quick and simple question. Do you enjoy watching kids pissing themselves, shitting themselves, and puking all over the goddamn place? Because if you do, then look no further than Made in Abyss, because that's gonna be a 10 out of 10 anime for you, and you're gonna love every single minute of it. Also, while you're at it, go see some therapy, please. But if you're just a casual fan who is in pursuit of a thought-provoking narrative, then I guess Made in Abyss also works. Yeah, I guess I can recommend Made in Abyss. The reason I'm making this video is to defend Made in Abyss, because I don't think enough people are watching it. And when I say people, I really just mean like the casual fans who've been avoiding Made in Abyss because it looks like a fucking kids show. Or at least that's the most common thing I've heard so far. That couldn't be more far from the truth, and that's why I'm here today to use my authority and credibility as a high-standing member in the anime community to persuade you guys to watch Made in Abyss. Before we move on any further, I'm sure you're wondering like what the hell is Made in Abyss and like what the fuck's an abyss? So let me just explain this to you in Fortnite terms. Big hole in Earth called Abyss. 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. Boy's a robot, girl's a human. 2 kids travel down big hole in order to find girl's mom. That's basically the gist of like Made in Abyss for like the next 2 seasons. Pretty simple story to get behind, and honestly nothing too profound here, but that's what makes it so interesting. So in order to go down this abyss, the deeper you go, the harder it is to come back up. That's because of this thing called the Curse of the Abyss. This isn't a spoiler, by the way. This is like explained in like the first 2 episodes. Basically, the deeper you go, the harder it is to come back out, because you experience the Curse of the Abyss. And the Curse of the Abyss is like a range of things that you could experience depending on how deep you go. So let's just say if I go down like, I don't know, like 200 meters and come back up, maybe I'll feel like a bit of a headache. But if I go down like 1,000 meters and come back up, god damn, I'm gonna be like shitting blood out of like my ass or something. That's basically a gist of what the Curse of the Abyss is, and basically the deeper you go, the harder it is to come up. What makes that interesting is you basically see these 2 kids sacrifice the life they had on the surface in order to pursue the life they have, the new life they have at the bottom, basically. And that sacrifice they make is sort of what makes the show so interesting in the first place. One of the things that I feel really sell Made in Abyss is the Abyss, obviously, the concept of the Abyss, as well as the world building in and out of the Abyss. And personally, I think that the Abyss is just a little bit more interesting than the story itself. Not to say that either of them are bad, but I wouldn't mind seeing a whole nature documentary just on the Abyss itself, simply because of how well the ecosystem in the Abyss works, and just how vast and like surreal the whole thing feels. Because you know Earth, right? Like Earth is massive. There's probably a lot of things you probably won't see in our lifetimes. And it's crazy to see that inside this vast Earth, there's a hole, and inside that hole, there is an entirely new ecosystem for you to explore. So if you're looking for that surreal feeling when you look at this large-than-life landscape, and when you're like looking at the like creatures that inhabit that landscape, then what better reason than to check out the Abyss? Because Made in Abyss truly does have one of the most breathtaking sceneries in all of anime. And if that doesn't convince you to watch the anime, then I'm gonna have to tell you about the music, because the music in Made in Abyss is so fucking good. I really don't have a way to explain this unless like you go watch the anime yourself, but the music in Made in Abyss, like the soundtrack more specifically by Kevin Penkin, is the type of shit that gets you like squirming in your seat when you hear it for the first time. Especially when like the anime is exploring a new aspect of the Abyss that you've never seen before, and the music just kicks in. It just fits so well. No matter whether or not it's a creepy scene, whether or not it's like a cool scene or a majestic scene, the music just fits so right, and it just adds to the immersion of the anime by so much that, and if that doesn't convince you to watch the anime, then I'm gonna tell you this now, but there are kids in this anime. Yo, pause. But for real though, I think the characters in Made in Abyss are low-key the weakest part of the show. and that's because I just found the main character a little bit annoying, as well as the robot a little bit annoying. Aside from that though, like, the character growth is actually real. When I said I found them annoying, I only found them annoying for like a couple of episodes, and after that, like, the character growth is real, and through time you really do get to understand these characters and just eventually get attached. So I guess in that sense, the characters are a strong point, and that's not just for the main characters. The side characters, all of them in fact, are all very cool and memorable. If you enjoy anime where like there's actual character development, unlike Rent a Girlfriend Season 2, then Made in Abyss is for you. So with that being said, that's been my attempt in persuading you, the viewer, into watching Made in Abyss. Hopefully you end up watching this absolute god tier anime eventually, because it truly is one of my favorite anime of all time. And like, even if you don't like adventure and fantasy, like, I still think that it's a really nice viewing experience, like, in general, just as a standalone anime. And regards to viewing order, you can either watch season 1 and then the movie and then season 2, or you could watch all the movies, because some of the movies are recap movies of season 1, and then watch season 2. But just don't like jump into season 2 after season 1, because there's a movie in between season 1 and season 2, and if you don't watch that, you're probably not gonna like understand a lot of what season 2 is. Even though it doesn't really have that much of an impact, it's still better to just watch that movie in between. My recommendation, just watch all the movies and then season 2, because yeah, like, I've watched everything and I really don't think you miss out like that much if you just watch the movies. Like, the first 2 movies are recap movies, and the third movie is like new stuff. So yeah, go watch Made in Abyss, because I need to talk to people about Made in Abyss, and none of the people I know have watched this anime. Like, what the heck?